Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Dead Man's Hand here as we move along with the good factions. Today we're taking a look at a special one, and that is the 7, as in the Magnificent 7, the original bunch, that is. So it's definitely a different faction than pretty much most of the rest, obviously directly from a movie, but here really the whole faction is special characters. So definitely very powerful. We'll get into that here in a second. And so with that being special characters or name characters, there's going to be no repeats on any of them, right? So we basically have to take Bryn and 2 to 5 of the others, although the others here are all still named characters. We could also include Stevie if we want. We see the rep breakdown there, 6, 5, and 2. Bryn, of course, is going to be our best, just by a fair bit here as our leader. +1 shoot, +1 hand-to-hand. Stevie here, no bonuses, not that he needs it with a shotgun, good nerves, and then the others are just blank, essentially, as far as no buffs or anything there, not that they need it with their special abilities. So let's jump right in here. Bryn, after all initiative cards have been revealed, you may swap his with a card from a player's from your hand, basically. So you have that active basically every single turn. So really, he's always going to essentially get to go whenever he needs to. You might not necessarily have the best or highest initiative on the board, but at least you can bump him up the order if needed, or swap him down to a little bit later in the turn if him going first isn't critical. But maybe you need, let's say you need one of the face cards, which we'll get into, in your hand, and really it doesn't matter necessarily when he goes. You might be able to swap that with something in your hand just to get that card into your hand to be able to play it. So little tricks that you can do there. Stevie can fire his shotgun with both barrels, reload, and then fire both barrels again. The shotgun is then classed as out of ammo as normal. If he chooses to fire a single barrel after firing both barrels and then reloading, the shotgun is still classed as out of ammo. So really super powerful shotgun abilities. They're really kind of just breaking it compared to any other faction. They're essentially getting to double barrel twice in a turn, which is pretty damn nasty. So, and really, unless the dice are just absolutely not with you, getting potentially 2 +6s on the same turn against somebody, really, your odds of taking people out should be good. And if the dice are hot, and you got 2 people lined up, you could take out 2 models a turn, really, with him. Robbie, +2 to hit with pistol if he's inside a building. So this is, again, starting the list of the others here. So situational, but, if anybody's getting too close to the building, the range modifiers still kick in, so he can actually be pretty damn lethal with a pistol. So in a scenario or mission where maybe he's you got to guard a certain spot or just make a certain building really a strong point, getting him in there and just letting anybody wander close with while he's got that pistol going is pretty nasty. Jimmy, at the beginning of the turn, nominate whether he is using a knife or a gun. He gets +1 to either shoot or hand-to-hand, but can't use both in the same turn. But either way, that's fine. Getting plenty of flexibility there is really super useful. Oh, we forgot to mention earlier, too, any of the others, essentially, pistol or repeater. So choose wisely there. So obviously Robbie, you're going to choose the pistol for him because of his special ability. Jimmy could be interesting there, too, giving him the repeater. And just having that +1 on the repeater and then getting into like solid ranges and stuff too. So, but having another character who's good at hand-to-hand is not terrible. Charlie, if one of the other 7 gets an under fire marker due to enemy gunfire within 10 centimeters of Charlie and he hasn't activated yet, then he may immediately take a quick shot at any target without burning his activation. Can only be used once per turn, but that's still super powerful. So definitely want to use him strategically and put him in a good spot where you're going to see who's shooting at your nearby buddies, if at all possible. Dex, if one of the other 7 is taken out of action within 10 centimeters of Dex, then add an under fire marker to Dex and discount the hit to the original character. This may take Dex out of action, but pretty cool. You get a bullet shield here, essentially. Again, another reason to keep some of the guys close. And, before he gets too much damage, again, each of the others can take 4 hits. It's, might be worth just taking part of a turn, heal back up, and then kind of rinse and repeat. And then finally, Horse. After all initiative cards are revealed, you may swap any of the 7's initiative cards for horses. So much special abilities here as far as being able to swap a lot of things around and really getting them into the right spots. And then sort of the aforementioned sort of buddy abilities here with Charlie and Dex, keeping them close to buff your other characters in different ways and keep them in the fight, essentially. So really, really good stuff overall. So let's take a look at the cards next. Alrighty, the Jack here for the 7. Men, you step aside for none. Play at any time, move one of the 7 10 centimeters towards an enemy character. So nice little quick repositioning, and basically another free action. Most factions have some sort of mechanics, whether it's the cards or their special abilities, where somebody gets some sort of extra action in some way, shape, or form. So here we get a free move, which, again, depending on the initiative order and stuff too, this can definitely get you closer without having to waste precious actions to maybe get into optimal ranges for your particular weapon, things like that. So situational, but always useful if you are indeed needing to close with the enemy. And again, over time, especially if we can get this played multiple times in a game, ideally more actions overall than your opponent will hopefully lead to victory. Enemies, none. For the queen spot here, play after one of your characters takes an opponent out of action with shooting. Immediately move the shooter up to 10 centimeters in any direction. This is not classed as a move. So pretty cool here, another movement ability. So in this case, it's contingent upon us eliminating somebody, but again, with all the special abilities that we have here with the 7, and this is, again, really one of the strongest factions out there. It's another free move action, and in this case, any direction too. So maybe we get to be a little bit more aggressive, get up there, get that kill, and then boom, let's get back out of line of sight, maybe, or into some cover, things like that. But again, just another way to move wherever we need to, or move closer to the next victim as well. And the fact that it doesn't count as a move is great for modifiers. So things like pistols, where we're getting multiple shots a turn, or just any other weapon where we're not going to be classified as having moved at all, or at least not moved for that particular bonus movement as far as the modifiers go. King, insults swallowed, none. Play this card at the beginning of the turn. One pistol or repeater armed character may reroll each shot once for the remainder of the turn. Fantastic. So that's a pretty good one there, in the sense that we can just really focus on shooting ideally and not necessarily worry about having to spend an action aiming, because we're going to get a free reroll per shot. So ideally this goes to somebody with a pistol. I think would be the overall best here. Get up close and just start blasting away at somebody and getting a reroll off of those. So if you're already in the ideal range, and then maybe you're just going wild with Bryn there with the built-in +1 to shoot at close range with the pistol, good stuff there. So super powerful, but we do have to commit to that at the beginning of the turn. So we got to know ideally that we're going to play this on a character who's pretty high up there in the initiative order, just to make sure that that character will get to go and not necessarily succumb to anything that the enemy's doing. And then finally, nobody throws me my own guns and says run. Nobody. Play when one of your characters fails a nerve test from shooting. Remove up to 2 under fire markers from this model and place them on an enemy model, which is just ridiculously good here. So getting rid of those under fire markers, right? It's just 2 of them, in fact. So it's almost like 2 free actions there as far as healing. And then the fact that we can place them on any enemy model. Any enemy model. That's ridiculously good. So it doesn't have any other restrictions listed here, right? So if we are taking those 2 damage and putting on an enemy, that very well could take them out. So really any enemy piece on the board has got to respect that, because you can definitely mess up the enemy's plans for the turn with that. So, and really the enemy's got to respect the fact that you might be holding this if they haven't, or once they've seen that this, or once they know about this card, rather, any of their characters that are within 2 of being knocked out either need to be very careful, especially if they don't see the ace out there for initiative. but also, that might force the enemy to hold their own ace just to have a counter for this as well. The other crazy thing with that too is that really we almost want to get into positions where our characters are taking some damage and ideally failing a nerve test. So a couple of ifs here, right? A couple of conditions to make this happen, but just the fact that it's super powerful when it can be pulled off is just crazy. So another neat trick there with some of the characters where we can swap the initiative cards as well. So this could be one where, hey, we see this out there, we actually need this in our hand just so we can maybe pull that off during the turn. So just little things that we can shift around here, and with just all the special abilities, this whole group really shines and is again super powerful. So now a lot of Dead Man's Hand is contingent upon or focused on playing like scenarios and things like that. Again, we do in our group do a lot more like heads up play. So it's definitely a super powerful group. I don't know if I'd necessarily want these guys in like a just like straight up tournament. Maybe like smaller games, but if you can feel like the full 7, they're just ridiculously powerful. Not quite maybe overpowered. I think they certainly can be beaten, but they have certainly a lot of powerful abilities. Just between Bryn, Stevie, and all the other named characters here, individually they're already good with all the different abilities that each model gets. Couple in that with their face cards, and then there's what the regular cards can do too. If you really get a handle on how to run these guys effectively, very very tough to stop them. Let us know, guys, if you have played the 7, or if anybody's played the 7 in your group and how they have fared. Do you feel that they're super strong, maybe too strong for just competitive play, or are they just good but not necessarily broken? So hit us up in the comments there, guys. Love to hear your thoughts on this particular version of the 7, and we'll have more faction coverage for you soon. Thanks for watching. Thank you.